following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, where every man in a thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't trust me, big up the girls inside the party. Let's get down to crazy Jimmy, big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your wanna be, Jimmy Star's new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Star's.
Hey ho, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. We got a great show for you guys today. I'm super excited about it. Before I tell you who's coming on, let me give a huge shout out to my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Well, nothing too outrageous going on. It's summertime, and summertime in Palm Springs is a graveyard. And LA, of course, nothing is going on. Everything starts happening in October. Then we start going to red carpets and events. Then we have the one up at the Penthouse, Madame
Oh, yes, Halloween Hotness.
Halloween Hotness. And then we have stuff to report. But right now it's quiet. But I'll give you an update on my health, because a lot of people have been asking how I feel. I have won the battle with this stupid old age thing that you get from too much anesthesia, where you lose your marbles. And I've come back. The only thing I make my own breakfast now. Jimmy brought me my breakfast in bed for the whole time that I was ill. I wasn't able to make my breakfast or cook or do anything. But now I'm back. I'm only very sleepy and very weak. The weakness will go away. That is another couple of months. But all in all, I feel terrific, and I'm happy to be rolling again. Now, if my energy only came back, I'd be really super happy.
Cool. So the chat room is filling up quick. We got a great show for you guys today. We have two fantastic guests. I'm super duper excited for both of them. The first guest, you guys, is Jimmy Constable. He is from the UK boy band 911. They're fabulous. I first bought their first album. I was actually in England when it came out, and I bought it and brought it back to America. I'm super excited about having them on. I want to give a quick shout out to Mark Loverush Schneider, one of our favorite people in the world, and Bite Back, the Bite Back agency who reps 911, because Mark Loverush went to Bite Back. Bite Back said, yes, we'll bring him on the show. I'm very excited and I'm thankful, and you guys can check them both out. BiteBackAgency.com if you're ever looking for great talent for an event. And I want to thank them, and we'll thank them again later. Also, our second guest today, you guys, is John Jarrett. He's one of the biggest Australian actors in the history of Australia for the last 50 years. He's fantastic, and he plays Mick Taylor in the Wolf Creek movies. Anybody who's a horror movie knows what Wolf Creek is. And so I'm super duper excited about having him on. And he's got a new movie that I don't think it's out in America yet, but it's doing really well in Australia. And it's not a horror movie because he's done all kinds of things. He's a real actor who does everything. So I'm super excited about it. Also want to remind everybody that my book, Pop Goes the Collector, on sale on Amazon, $14.99 for the book, $7.99 for the Kindle. And you can get it, anybody who's interested in collecting Funko Pops. And Ron and I have our own Funko Pops. I should get those out one day, and so we can show everybody again, because it's been a long time.
I think we put them in storage.
Yes, we did. And also, we want to thank B. Claudia. B. Claudia sent a beautiful card.
Let me do that. B. Claudia, it took a month to get here from Germany, but she sent me a very beautiful get well card. And I thank you very much for your caring and thinking of me. And yes, I'm doing very well. The doctors are amazed at how I snap back. Lots of people take a year or more, but I did it in 3 months, 4 months.
So we're rocking and rolling, you guys. We're going away on vacation, so we're going to have I think 2 more shows, and then we're taking 2 weeks off. And then when we come back, I've already booked some great guests. So everything is going really well. We want to thank everybody. Last week's show did really, really well. And we want to say hi to some of the people in the chat room because it's starting to fill up. I'm not sure who Tara Sagas is exactly, but hello, Tara Sagas, unless that is Terry. That might be Terry. Dawn Hinton is in there. Lady Lake Music is in there. Dawn says she loves our shirts and your hair.
I said, boy, do we clash today.
Jeff Caperton just joined us. Hey, Jeff. Stefan Bell is in there. It's filling up, and it's going to be a great show, you guys. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm super excited about the whole thing.
Jeff Caperton's doing so much. He's on my Facebook page with so many things that he's doing. He's a great guy. We really like Jeff. And I'm happy that all's going well for him. Right, Jeff? Right.
Actually, Tara Sagas is a friend of mine, Neil Day, in England. So hello, welcome, and I'm sure the other Terry will be coming on soon. Jeff Caperton's a badass, and we're going to have some films coming out with him soon, you guys. I think we're going to be funded soon. So we're going to be working with him really closely, and you guys are going to love it. We also want to thank everybody for listening on all the different platforms. You can hear the Jimmy Star Show on the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell on Acast, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn, and Amazon Prime. You can watch us on YouTube and 360 TVN. And I think you guys will dig it. And Hub Reynolds Jr. is in the chat room too, who, by the way, is getting married in August. So congratulations, Hub, on your upcoming nuptials. I forgot when he said it was. I think it's the first week of August, though, so it's coming up soon. And yes, the chat room rocks. So everybody, thanks so much for tuning in and supporting the show. We totally appreciate it. I'm going to move these things out of the way. All right, so what did we do? We didn't really do anything this week interesting, did we?
We vegetated.
Yes, we vegetated.
Well, actually not. On Saturday, we helped our friend Diana Stone move into her new house here in the desert. It was hot. It was 113 degrees, and we were running around from store to store to get her. She needs bar stools. She needs all sorts of things. And I think we're going to do it again this weekend because she's not familiar with any of the stores where they are, and I know every one of them. So that was it, but it's great having her here in the desert. She's a very old friend of mine. She was very big in the days of Garmento, the garment center. She launched so many high fashion designers. It made them famous, and she's just a wonderful gal. What else?
So Hub's getting married on August 5th, you guys,
Right.
in Alabama. And we wish you and Holly only the best with everything that you're doing. And
where are you going to live, in Alabama?
Yes, he said he bought a 10-acre. He bought 10 acres with 400 feet of creek front farmland in the woods, and they're building a house.
Good.
Good for you, Hub.
Now your song should be, I'm Alabama bound. I got the whatever.
You have to add a little bit more twang to it to get that country twang in there.
Yeah, with my Brooklyn accent, I doubt there's any twang. But if I was in a movie and I had to talk like that, I probably could. They kind of sing all the time and talk like this. So I don't know if I could.
Jeff
do
Caperton wants to know if he's marrying his cousin. That's funny shit right
hysterical. There. No, he's marrying a lovely girl, Jeff. She's really nice.
I think that's hilarious.
Yeah. And Jeff, you're looking very sexy and handsome on Facebook with all those modeling poses you're doing and all the cowboy shit. You really look good.
Absolutely. I think it's terrific. We also want to welcome Dawn Hinton back because she's been having lots of therapy for her shoulder, and so she's been missed a bunch of weeks. So hello, Dawn, and welcome back. And
therapy. I go to therapy for my knee, and my guy jumps on the knee and bends it and twists it and gives me more pain than when I had the surgery. So when I hear therapy, I just think, oh no.
Jeff says he can't really talk because his family's from Arkansas.
What?
His family's from Arkansas, so Jeff Caperton, so he said he really shouldn't be joking about Alabama.
maybe he's from parents that are brother and sister.
Yeah.
Arkansas, they're really bad there. Isn't that the Smoky Mountains up Arkansas? Are those the Smoky Mountains?
I don't know what's in Arkansas.
Jeff, are they the Smoky Mountains in Arkansas? Where are the Smoky Mountains?
I have no idea.
What's her name? Dolly Parton came from.
Tennessee.
No, I don't know if she came from Tennessee.
I don't know where they are.
I don't know. I know the Smoky Mountains is, I think maybe Virginia up. No,
I don't know.
I don't know where they are.
It's funny though, because I almost went to Upper Iowa University. I was going to go to Upper Iowa University to play tennis, and then I decided there's no way I could live in Iowa. And they used to joke about it that the only thing they have in Iowa is steers and queers.
What is it?
The only thing they have in Iowa is steers and queers. And I was like, and I would have fit, but I wasn't out then.
Meanwhile, you better trim that beard.
I know, I didn't have time.
You look like an old man.
That's okay.
You don't look sharp. You look old.
That's okay. I am old.
I know. I think it's trade-in time.
No.
There's
Smoky
trade-
Mountains are where Dolly Parton is. The Smoky Mountain, aren't they? That's
Yeah,
what
the
they're
Smoky
saying.
Mountains. She came.
Which
from-
is where? Hey, Boomer Mays just joined us too. Where are the Smoky
Maybe it
Mountains?
is Tennessee, the Smoky Mountains.
I don't know where they are. The Great Smoky Mountains are located along the border between the United States between North Carolina and Tennessee. Thank you, Juan.
Okay, so they're shit kickers there.
Absolutely.
Totally.
You gotta
That's why
love it.
a lot of people from New York are moving to South Carolina, and I said I could never live in South Carolina because if I had to hear that accent constantly, I'd go out of my mind. It's really a very heavy, I don't know, Southern. What the hell kind of accent is it?
I don't know, but she said Dollywood, which is Dolly Parton's theme park. That's in Tennessee.
Right, and they talk really like I don't know what they sound like when they talk. What they talk like is. And I would go nuts. Some people say the Brooklyn accent they don't understand. And I said, well, it's not that you don't understand it. You're not cutting it. I want to go. Okay? I want to go. It's I want to go. So we got rid of the other stuff and we made it I want to go. Do you want to go? Do you want to go? So some people just find the Brooklyn accent difficult to understand.
And on today's show, besides a Brooklyn accent, we're going to have a British accent and an Australian accent.
Well, the Australian accent I really like. British accent is elegant. So
We'll see how it actually
American South, the accent is really, I don't know what, hillbilly or just not, it doesn't sound sophisticated. That's why a lot of, like Ava Gardner came from North Carolina. Ava Gardner, the famous movie actress, married to Frank Sinatra, one of the greatest beauties in Hollywood. Anyway, Ava Gardner came from North Carolina. And when Hollywood got her, they worked on her constantly for her to get rid of her North Carolina accent. Now, you wouldn't think that North Carolina had a heavy accent, but they do. So once you leave New Jersey, you hear all those nasal twanging people.
Two things real quick before we bring on our first guest. First thing is B. Claudia has joined us now from Germany. Hey, B, so we did a little shout out thanking you for the card. And Ron, thank you for the card that you sent. So thank you so much. This way you get to hear it from us. But if you go back and listen, we talked about you earlier. And second, Stefan told me to make sure that I mentioned to check out Collector's Corner with Jimmy Starr and Dark Frights Horror News with Jimmy Starr on YouTube, because he said when I mention it here, we get a lot of hits. So check them out, you guys.
And when I talked about the Get Well card you sent me, I also told people that your latest movie, you're totally naked.
Yeah, right.
So it's called The German Girl.
Love you, B. She said she'll listen to it. Thanks for the mention. All right, so now we're going to bring on our first guest, you guys. Let's see if everything's working, and let's bring him on in, Juan. Hello. Up. His microphone is off. Say something.
Hello.
Hey, yay! You made it. Hello, and welcome.
How are you? You all right? You good?
Yeah, we're fantastic. And before we start, let me introduce you. to everybody, and so then they'll know who we're talking to, and then we'll just get right into it. So everybody, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, Jimmy Constable, singer, dancer. He does everything, but he's most well known as being one of the founding members of the amazing UK boy band 911. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
I'm super excited. This is my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Ron Russell.
Not so outrageous.
I've been listening to some of the topics. It's great.
Oh, he used to be more outrageous. Also, we're both kind of on the mend from knee surgery, so we're getting better as we go along. But and while we have you on at the very beginning, I want to again give a shout out to Mark Loverush Schneider and the Bite Back Agency for helping set this whole interview up. We're very grateful for both of them. Mark's been on the show a bunch of times, and we get millions of plays when he comes on with all the fabulous musical talent that he knows. And we're super excited to have you on. And I'm going to tell you, so when your very first album, I used to go to England all the time. And I would always go, and I would go to Virgin Records because we don't have that here, like a nice record stores like that. We don't have those in America. And I would go, and I would just go through and find all the boy band CDs, and I would buy all of them and bring them back to America. So I got your very first CD. I was probably in England like 2 months after it came out, and I bought it, and I listened to every Boyzone, Westlife. I know they're Irish, but all the different boy bands. Take That, obviously, and all the different bands. I also like Blazing Squad and Westlife, and I like all of them, and I'm collecting all the dolls from all of them because I collect action figures and stuff like that. So everybody who's got the dolls, I just had my Robbie Williams one come yesterday, and you guys don't have one. You need you guys need to push for them to make like action figures of you guys or Funko Pops of you guys.
You're breaking up.
No, hang on, something happened. But say it again.
You're breaking up.
Hang on. Hey Juan, what's that? What is that? We hear like a little beeping noise.
It's a crackling sound.
Yeah, we hear a crackling sound. All right, try putting your mic back on. He needs to refresh the page. Can you hear me? Refresh the page, it says.
Are we there? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, much
no,
better.
no.
Very good. All right.
I do apologize. It might have been my earpods. Yeah, I think the Funko Pops might be a better idea because I think obviously whether you know it or not, we are probably one of the smallest boy bands. We're all kind of like 5'3". So as you can imagine, that probably goes better down for Funko Pops. But
Are Funko Pops big in England like they are here?
yeah, I mean my boy he's 14. He's big into it with the superheroes and the FNAF and all the rest. So yeah, they're quite huge collectible over here.
Yes, I have a huge collection. I just wrote a book on how to collect them, to make money and with them and stuff. And I just published it like 3 weeks ago. And I'm just very excited to have you here. So I thought that what we could do to start a little bit is tell people a little bit how you got into the whole thing. Because I read online that you were a dancer, and the other two members of 911, you guys, Lee Brennan and Simon Dawbarn. I read, and I don't know if it's true, that you and Simon were also dancers with Jason Orange, and that he got into Take That, and they were so successful. That's how you guys decided to form 911. Is that true?
Yes, there was a big TV show over here called The Hitman and Hair. It was basically a show where they would take cameras into a nightclub, just film people dancing basically, and the two presenters on stage, who were Pete Waterman and Michaela Strachan, and we would be the kind of backing dancers, if you like. And myself and Spike, we know Spike as Simon.
Yes.
And obviously, because, again, it's probably because of the height thing, and we were both street dancers and break dancers, and we kind of became the dancers for the show and got paired together. And just at the time that we started, Jason Orange was still with us, still breakdancing, part of his breakdancing team. And when we kind of went off to rehearse for The Hitman and Hair, we bumped into Jason in a place in Manchester, and he would basically in this other room with these guys, obviously who we didn't know at the time. So obviously went in, said hello, and he was like, "Oh, I'm, boy band." We're like, "That'll never do anything. come back to the Hitman on Air. So yeah, they come, you know, they were like massive as they are, but yeah, it was kind of funny story that Jay went on to do greater things, and I did bump into him probably 4 or 5 years ago. He hasn't been seen by anybody.
Yes.
And I randomly bumped into him in a street in Cumbria up in England. When I had a cup of coffee with him, and he's okay. He just doesn't like the front side of it now. He's kind of wants to be a bit more of a recluse, which is fine as long as he's happy. But yeah, we originally started on a TV show with Jason, yeah, Hitman on Air.
So how big was when you decided to form 911? Had they already taken off? Like, I don't know when they actually became famous, or they were just at the very beginnings.
They'd actually literally just split in 1995. 1995 was when we started as a band. So it was literally off the back of them splitting. And we obviously decided that, you know, we wanted to do the same kind of thing, but we didn't have another member. So we kind of did things the hard way. We weren't put together by anybody. Myself and Simon were, as the dancers, kind of put the band together ourselves and auditioned people. And our local radio station had given us a letter that Lee had wrote in to say, you know, we want to join a boy band, blah, blah. So we kind of met up, and we eventually moved into a place in Glasgow, in Scotland, in England. And then also our manager was from there. And to be honest, we spent the first year lugging our stuff in and out of vans, doing school tours, trying to get a database before anybody was interested. And long story short, we eventually had Virgin Records and BMG in a bidding war. But by this time, we'd already released our own first single, which was Night to Remember. We had a finance guy on board with us, so we released it without any help. And it was kind of unheard of that it got into the charts without any help from the rec company or the magazines or TV. And then once we signed, obviously, to Virgin, it was great.
That's what it says online. So online, it says basically like you guys formed the band. Nobody wanted you. Then you did a cover of Shalimar's Night to Remember and Love Sensation. And after that, it was like a bidding war. And I think you went with Virgin, right?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't want to put it out there too much, but we discovered that obviously Simon Cowell was BMG at the time. And the reason he wanted to sign us was to what they call in the business shelve us.
Yeah. I have a lot of friends who've been shelved in the past. Yeah.
It's very true. And the reason was because he had this band called Five that were about to come out, and he didn't want to jeopardize anything. So that was we kind of found that out by accident, which is why we obviously signed with Virgin. Luckily,
Five is a great band, though. They're actually, I think I wrote down you went on tour a couple times with Five, didn't you?
Yeah, we've done. You know, over the years, we've done because they have. I'm sure they have them over there as well. But like nostalgic kind of tours where they're tons back.
Yeah, we have tons of them.
So we've
I'm not
done.
being antisocial.
He doesn't know who any of the stuff like.
But I have no idea what the fuck any of you are talking about.
That's okay, Ron. As long as
he's going to ask you about how all the women threw their clothes at you.
First of all, I'm 85 years old. So when you were performing, you were children. I mean, you weren't even born yet. Probably you weren't born yet.
You look amazing for 85, Ron.
Thank you so much, but I don't feel so amazing when you guys talk about this. See, I do the inside stuff. Are you married? Are you gay? Are you straight? You have a girlfriend? You have children? I do all that.
We're going to do that in a minute. I want to keep going over the boy band stuff.
Shit. Because I really don't know who you are or what you've done, and that's not being offensive. It's just generation gap. Because I'm going to quiz you. Do you know who Peggy Lee is? Peggy Lee.
Do you know who Peggy Lee is?
I'm going to say no. I'm sorry, no.
What is it?
No.
Johnny Mathis.
Johnny Mathis, I know. Yeah.
Frank Sinatra.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Those are his favorite singers.
These are people that I knew through the years. My gang.
I love it. So, who do you think who's the biggest boy band that has ever come out of the UK? Not including the Beatles, because I guess they're probably the biggest. But
I know the Beatles.
Who do you think is the biggest boy band that came out of England?
To come out of England, I'd probably have to go with Take That.
Okay.
Because obviously they did the original, whatever it was, 10 years that they were together. and then obviously they split up for 10 years, and then they're back, and now they're even bigger than what they were back then. So I think if you look at it as overall, I think Take That has to be the biggest UK band.
What wasn't Boy George in a boy band?
No, Boy George was a solo artist.
You solo artist.
So I think that because I like Take That, and I just watched. The reason I bring it up, I just watched that movie Better Man, which I guess it tanked in the UK. It didn't do very well, but it was very interesting actually. And then I was Googling Robbie Williams and Take That, and it seems that like Robbie Williams sold more records on his own than Take That than he sold with Take That.
Absolutely.
So Robbie Williams is a big star.
Yeah, Robbie is huge. I mean, he's like such a huge star. But yeah, I watched the film as well, and I thought it was amazing because I thought it touched on so many things for me personally, because obviously the music business for me was great. But when I came out the other side of it, when we kind of called it a day, it was like I didn't know how to dance. So I kind of went into the the drugs and the alcohol and the downside of things. So it touched a nerve, I think, when I watched it, and I think it's a great movie.
I thought it was great too. I don't know I don't know why it didn't do well. I mean, I guess I know why it didn't do well in America. Because I don't know that unless you really like boy bands, I don't know that if Americans know who Robbie Williams and everybody is exactly. Not like they do at least in the UK.
I know who Robbie Williams is.
He was a judge on X Factor too, because I always watch X Factor UK in the auditions. I really only like the auditions.
Robbie Williams.
Well, he has a house in LA, so
I have to. You go through my brain now. This is why.
He's huge. There he is, right there. That's his. I have his action figure.
But I think I know this person.
No, you've never met him. You've never
sure?
met. No, I'm positive.
I know the name.
If we met Robbie Williams, like we would have, like instead of 5 million people watching the show, we would have 50 million.
Absolutely.
Just the name sounds so familiar.
He's very popular.
I'm going to ask you another question. What do you think of Joan Collins?
Oh, she's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, she's a huge star, isn't she? I mean, she's like, there's only so.
When I was in England, I went to theater. And while we were waiting to go into theater, I said to one of the people standing there waiting, I said, so what do you think about Joan Collins? And she said, oh, we're so sick of her and we're so happy you got her.
Oh,
so
really?
Is that true that the English people are sick of Joan Collins?
No, I mean, I think it's just that, there's so many people and to be honest, I think she's kind of stratosphere level. There's only so many people that are at that level. You're talking Joan Collins is one of them, but I think it's because we associate stars being, the kind of, even to a point, Robbie Williams and all them is that, yes, they're huge. But I think, Joan Collins and maybe a few others, Sinatra is one of those that are like, you can't reach that level. It's just not.
We love her. We love her here. And I'll plug her movie. She's got a movie she just did, I think, for HBO, where she plays one of the most famous English dignitaries, the wife of who.
You shouldn't plug stuff if you don't know the name of it.
Well, I'm hoping that to work with Joan, right?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Joan may be in a movie that I'm going to be in. And,
that's good.
I'm looking so forward to meeting her. To me, she's an icon because she's 90 years old and looks gorgeous and sexy for 90.
Have you ever acted?
I was getting
there.
Have you ever acted?
I was going there.
Okay, well, I'm asking for my own reasons because I'm doing a movie with boy band members, and he's
I know
a boy
that,
band
but
member.
wait, listen, fuckness. Wait your turn.
Okay.
We're married, so I'm allowed to say things like fuckness.
You make a great duo.
Yes.
What is that?
Yeah, go ahead. Just say what you want to say because
I forgot. At my age, we have to keep it going.
Have you ever acted it before in any movies?
I was saying that. Have you ever acted it before?
Yeah, well, actually, myself and another. Do you know a boy band called E17?
I love E17. I've been telling Mark he's got to help get him on the show. I love him, especially when they did the remake of Gabrielle. The Gabrielle song and stuff was super great. But E17 is fabulous. They're one of my favorites. As a matter of fact, when I was there at a flea market, I bought an E17 T-shirt. I mean, that's 30 years ago, but I don't know what happened to it. But yes, I definitely know who they are.
So Terry using E17. So we're doing a movie at the minute where we've only done the trailer, and I think it's a Netflix thing that they're interested in, called The Blag, which is based on a true story. Basically, two painter and decorators that tried to get famous back in the late 80s. So yes, we've been acting for a few years now. Been doing a trailer and stuff. Myself and Terry from E17. So I've kind of touched.
I actually doing a movie. I have a really famous horror movie director, Adam Marcus, and he directed and wrote Friday the 13th. Jason Goes to Hell. Jason Goes to Hell, and he also did Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D. And in our movie, it's like there's a bunch of military members in it, and we're going to make all the military members of different boy bands. So we have members of like NSYNC, 98 Degrees. A bunch of different bands that are going to be in it.
I know NSYNC.
That's because we've had some of them on the show.
no, beside that, I like NSYNC. I love what they sing and how they perform.
They're the British. These guys are like them too. They're fabulous.
I'm sorry, I don't know who you are because I'm not familiar with boy bands. You see, being gay and at my age, if I'm interested in boy bands, they'll call me a pedophile. So, which will bring me to that subject. Were you ever accosted by gay people? Because gay men love young men.
I think it's always been, you know, when we were kind of early mid-90s to 2000. Yeah, I mean, you know, we used to do, you know, especially in the early days, because we always saw it as, again, you know, school tours, but we also did gay clubs, and it was all about kind of raising your, what they call like a database, so that when you put your single out, you kind of obviously got them to go and buy the single. So we did lots of gay clubs, and we only did the weekend just gone. We just done Pride. I guess it's the same over there, is it? Pride? Yeah. So yeah, we've done loads, Chesterfield, loads of Prides, and they're great because the best thing about them is you can go there, you know for a fact there ain't going to be any trouble. Great atmosphere. Everybody just wants to have a good time, and that's why we do so many of them. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's just great to be around that kind of happiness all the time.
Yeah, we have. I don't know if you know have you heard of CeCe Peniston? She sings Finally.
Yeah. Finally, yeah.
Very good friend of ours. Actually, she was. I'm a publicist, and she was my client. And so when she comes here, she performs for Pride a lot. We're in Palm Springs in California, and she performs and always invites
I have
us.
video of she and I dancing in my living room to Finally, which I think is classic video. I have to really run that on this.
We can show it. It's not from Finally though. It was from her new single.
No, we danced to Finally. Yes.
No, you vacuumed to Finally, but when you dance with her, it's to a different one. I know because I put it on my TikTok and got it a lot of plays. So also, you guys, we should tell everybody you can follow Jimmy on Instagram. On Instagram, he's at Jimmy Constable, and then you can do at the 911 official. The actual numbers 911 official to follow 911 on Instagram. They're also on TikTok. Let's brag a little, you guys. 10 singles in the UK. They sold 10 million singles, 6 million albums worldwide. You can check out their website, 911official.com. They've played with everybody. They started as a dancer. My first single that I ever heard of you guys was Love Sensation. Like that's the first time I had ever heard of you guys. I actually love the song. I think it's fabulous. You also had, I think Love Sensation was also in the Casper movie, right?
It was, yeah. I mean, I know they ended up doing, I think it's about 6 Casper movies, but I think it was Casper movie, the New Beginning, I think it's called. I think it was the second one.
Spirited Beginning.
Yeah. You know better than I do.
I brought it up too, just because we've had Steve Guttenberg on the show, and he stars in the movie with Lori Loughlin, Richard Mole, Michael McKean, and Rodney Dangerfield. And
he was on long ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. And then I wrote down that you guys won the GMTV search for next big thing, and you were voted the second best newcomer after the Spice Girls in Smash Hits, which that's a pretty big deal because Spice Girls has probably got to be one of the most famous British pop bands.
I know.
Like
the GMTV thing was still while we were still unsigned. We hadn't been signed to Virgin, so GMTV kind of basically took our level to the point where, you know, you're on national TV. I think it was after the second single. So yeah, that kind of propelled us into the kind of TV audience as well as the school tours that we'd done previously. So and the Spice Girls obviously were label mates, so they were signed to Virgin as well. So we saw quite a lot of them over the years. But yeah, I mean, huge band from UK.
And you guys are still touring all the time now, right?
We do a lot of stuff in Asia at the minute. As I say, we do UK because it's summertime. It's festival time. So every weekend there's festivals, prides, anything you can think of. That wherever the sun's shining, everybody wants to be out watching shows. So, and as you said before, it's bands. So I think we just done shows with. Did you know Blue, another boy band?
I love Blue. Actually, I almost had them on the show a couple of years ago. I almost had them on the show. But I love them. And again, I found out about Blue. I found out about Blue when they the first time I found out about them was when they remade "Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word" from Elton John back in the day. Yeah. And then I became a fan. I know all of them. I wrote down all the ones you guys have liked. Blue, 5. I don't know, A1, which I've actually met those guys before. Damage, Fifth Story, 3T. And then I wrote that you went on tour with Atomic Kitten, Liberty X. I like them a lot too. Bewitched, 5. And Honeys is the only one I didn't know. Or Honey Z, or I don't know how you even pronounce it, but I've never heard. That's the only one I haven't heard of. And that's probably a mixed group or a pop group, right? Yeah,
I mean, we obviously some of the most of the names there were we did a TV show called The Big Reunion, which basically got everybody back together, and we did what started out as a one show on a TV ended up being a huge arena tour, which was great. But that was, I think it touched the people's kind of hearts of wanting to relive, the 90s, and we had Smash Hits magazines, and it's kind of relives, being a teenager again. So it was fantastic from that point of view. But we spend a lot of time in Asia at the minute because we had a huge song called "I Do," which is actually a song I wrote for my wife for our wedding day, and it blew up in Asia. So we've been flying in and out of Asia for the past 2-3 years now. How did you put the single out? Like, is it out on an independent record label or a major record label? Well, what actually happened is we did an independent album, which was called Illuminate. And basically what we did a remix of some of our hits and then added a few more songs. And I had a song called "I Do," which I'd written for my wife, and we just kind of put it out there. And then randomly somebody in Asia, one of our contacts from Asia Virgin, said, "Oh, I don't know if you know it, but people have been covering this "I Do" song, which was never a single." And suddenly you looked on YouTube and there's over 100 million views of this song "I Do." So what we did, we basically brought in and the name is exactly how it sounds. It's spelled differently, but it's called Duck Phuc. It's an artist in Vietnam, a very lovely young lad, and he's great on social media. And we ended up doing a duet with him. And then obviously, as you can imagine, somebody that's young and great on social media, the song just blew up. So we've literally been back into. The reason I asked is I have the video and we're going to play it. I'm hoping that we don't get snagged because sometimes YouTube flags videos, and they get super pissed. And I'm hoping they don't because it's not put out on like Sony. If it's on Sony, you definitely can't. If it's on certain places, you can't. So we're going to try to play it and hopefully they don't shut us down with that part. So what I want you to do so everybody can hear it, just tell us who you are, the name of the song, and then we're going to play "I Do." We're going to play the "I Do" video, and you just hang on until we get done playing, and that way, millions of people more will get to see it. Go for it. Okay, everybody. This is a big song we've had in Asia, and hopefully it's going to be a great song over in the UK, originally written for my wife. This is Jimmy from Now and One, and this is "I Do."
Changed from the moment I met you, and it would never be the same. Felt like I knew that I always loved you from the moment I heard dried out, 'cause I won't see you cry again. Throw pennies in a fountain, look at what comes out. Sometimes wishes do come true. Now everything is perfect, I know this love is worth it. Our own miracle, if we make it. Until this world stops turning, I'll still be here waiting and waiting to make that vow that I'll be by your side till the day I die. I'll be waiting till I hear you say I do. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something good. I'll be waiting till I hear you say I do. Always better than most, protect you from the hurt. I'll be waiting till I hear you say I do. I do love you, yes I do love you. I'll be waiting till I hear you say I do. 'Cause I love you, love you. I'll be by your side till the day I die. I'll be waiting till I hear you say I do. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something good. I'll be waiting till I hear you say I do. We're shining like a diamond, just look at us now. I wanna hear you say I do.
Yay! I love the song, and it doesn't look like we got flagged, and it's beautiful. And in the chat room, they want to know, what did your wife think about the song since you wrote it for her?
But wait a minute,
Yeah,
is
I
that
think.
your wife in the video?
Sorry.
Is that your wife in the video?
No. My wife is. My wife doesn't like cameras, so there's no way we could have got her in the video whatsoever. But as far as I know, yeah, she loves it. Yeah.
So one thing I think is really cool about you guys is you came out 30 years ago, and all of you guys still look terrific. None of you guys got like super fat or big bellies. You know, you all still look very handsome.
I was going to say that because he looks very young. You look extremely young.
He's in his.
Oh, thank you very much. I think I think when you're still out there performing, especially as we do, because obviously we still do a lot of breakdancing, backflips, everything. So you've got to keep in the gym. You've got to try and keep as fit as you can. But thank you.
I think
Now,
it looks
Jimmy
terrific.
said before that the women threw their panties at you guys.
I'm just guessing because
Oh,
they
you
were
were
like
guessing.
very popular. So I mean, I went to a Tom Jones concert when he was like 70, and they were like throwing their panties on the
But
stage.
that was all fake. No, that was fake. Those were paid people to do that. No, seriously, I know that for a fact.
I saw him in Vegas. I don't think they were paid.
Yes, they were. He had, every time he appeared somewhere, he had a group of women that were paid to throw their key rooms, the keys
Room
to their
keys.
rooms and their panties on the stage.
I still
But
bet they got panties thrown to them. Did you guys get people like just going nuts crazy? I know you had to going nuts crazy for you.
I mean, obviously back in the day, it was it was crazy times. We were very lucky that we did lots of years of arena tours and obviously lots of fans and stuff. So yeah, it was crazy at times, but I mean, you still get people that come along now. And the strange thing is, you get people that now bring their kids, and the kids have got obviously no clue, but they've been forced to listen to 911. So they grow up, but they kind of never seem to leave that kind of songs that used to remind them of when they were younger.
Which I love it because I love all the nostalgic stuff. Like, so we have about 10, what do you call this? The casinos here, like around the area, and like all the like the psychedelic furs are getting ready to come. Morrissey's coming, all kinds of like people. Which actually, my favorite non-boy band act is Morrissey. Morrissey's like my freaking favorite. Have you ever met Morrissey?
No, I haven't met him. Met a lot of stars over the years, but no, I've never met Morrissey.
So who were some of the coolest stars that you either got to like go on tour with or play with or just be like, were you guys on Top of the Pops?
Yeah, we've done Top of the Pops, I think, 10 times.
Oh my God, that's a lot.
I mean, obviously, when we Top of the Pops, I mean, we had people like when we would go there with, like New Edition. I mean, for me, I've always loved the American artists. Whenever I used to, I'm like you were saying earlier, but whenever I used to go to the States, I would always go and find, American artists that back then, the likes of Brian McKnight, Next, Silk, people that, I'd never been heard of not never heard of, but the likes of my bandmates didn't really kind of enjoy.
Right.
I always kind of I wanted to always go and look for something new. And I love the whole kind of R&B production on everything. So for me, American artists, I mean, you look at, boy bands now, I mean, Backstreet, absolutely incredible boy band.
I know that Backstreet. I like that. Are people mourning in England now Ozzy Osbourne's death? Does it matter there?
I think everybody is. Yeah, I mean, he's such a huge iconic star.
He is important in England.
He's from England.
Absolutely. Well, that doesn't mean he could be important.
Ozzy Osbourne is one of the biggest stars in the history of music.
Yeah.
He was Black Sabbath, the biggest fucking rock band ever to live ever on the planet.
I know all of that.
I love Ozzy Osbourne, so I think it's fabulous. And I think so. It's funny.
It's been a lot of years since Ozzy's a big star.
No, he just had a concert 2 weeks ago.
Really?
He's still been touring, and he had his farewell concert 2 weeks ago, and then he died, which is very sad.
He's a huge star, so yeah, it's very sad.
Huge. So when you talk about like Silk, like I loved Silk. I used to work for a record label here, and we had H-Town, and we had a bunch of those bands. I think Shy, in fact, a boy band, some British boy band covered "Whenever I Fall in Love Again" or whatever by Shy. I forgot who that was. It might have been Blue or somebody. I always follow all that stuff, and I love watching. Like, I don't really like to watch X Factor, like the whole show. I just like to watch auditions because I always think the auditions are like a lot of fun to watch in general.
A lot of the covers that people do are, come from American artists because there's so many more. Obviously, there's so many more American artists, but I just think from my production point of view, and certainly my opinion is that the opinion and the songs are always better from American artists. Whether you look at boy bands and Backstreet Boys, and a good friend of mine is Danny from New Kids on the Block. I mean, they're back out there, and you kind of go, they just do it so well, production, song wise, and it stems back to the people like Frank Sinatra and people like that. We just think they're just absolutely amazing artists with some great songs, and obviously got some incredible songwriters over there.
Oh no, absolutely. So I'm a big Backstreet fan. I am, matter of fact, back in the day, I paid $2,400 to sit front row for 2 tickets front row for Backstreet Boys back when I was young, making a ton of money. NSYNC I've seen a bunch of times, and I was really good friends with the opening acts for NSYNC. So I got to meet everybody, and I think 98 Degrees has been on the show. We've had them on the show. We've also had, I'm trying to get O-Town. I'm a big O-Town fan, and I met all the guys because I used to have a clothing store in Florida, and the apartment, they had an apartment building across the street, and there was this super hot girl, and all the boy bands, for some reason, when they came into town, stayed at her apartment. So you would see like NSYNC or O-Town, and I would see them because I was working, and they would all just be like hanging out with a super hot girl. So those to me are the best American bands.
Myself,
I don't like.
We're just talking about we're going to go and see the Backstreet Boys in Vegas. I think they're going to hopefully do some more dates, and obviously try and time it because I know New Kids are doing MGM at the same time. So we're going to try and time it, hopefully, if they're close to each other, and so I can go and see my friend Danny and go and see the Backstreet Boys show as well.
They're great. They do it in a sphere in Vegas, the Backstreet Boys. They say it's super amazing. I like all the older, boy bands. I'm not a really big fan of like One Direction didn't do anything for me. I'm just too old, I think, and there's no nostalgia for me, even though I do like their solo stuff a lot better than I like their stuff. So I'm not really too big into the newer boy bands, but I like all the stuff from like the 90s and the early 2000s.
Yeah. And then we're just biased to say the 90s were the best, weren't they?
Yes, absolutely. Oh no, the 90s are definitely the best. And for me, music in general was best in the 80s, and then boy bands were the best in the 90s. But I'm old.
Obviously not according to Ron, because obviously the Frank Sinatra era will obviously be better for Ron.
Yes.
Ron.
Oh, yes. Actually, Johnny Mathis is his, without a doubt, his favorite. He's met him a bunch of times. We have
Johnny Mathis has sold more records than anyone in the business.
I can imagine.
He just retired at 90. He has sold over
360 million.
360 million albums or songs or whatever.
Crazy
He's
numbers, isn't
international. He's international. He's this little black guy, cute as hell, and the sweetest man you ever want to meet. He's so kind and gentle and nice, and it's in his music. And everybody that listened to him back in the 50s and 60s got pregnant. No, really. Because if you were making out with your girlfriend in the car and he would start to sing, the girls all gave in because they just fell in love with the music. So women were putting out like crazy, and they all got knocked up. And I told that to Johnny. I said that to Johnny. He started to laugh. He said, Ron, I have heard that over and over again, no matter where I go on tour. Women will come up to me and say, I got pregnant because of you.
As a strange flashback with I always remember, I have an auntie of mine called Trish, and it's really random and strange, but she used to have one of these record players that it was like in a cabinet, and you would lift the lid. But I always remember, I think it must have been about, I'd say probably, I don't know, 9, but I always remember a Johnny Mathis LP standing next to it, and she was always playing it, and that's how I knew the name, and obviously great songs. But
he had a voice that he never ruined because he never shouted and destroyed it. That's why he was able to sing up to 99, and he sounded almost as good as when he was young. How do you feel about that? The shouting or the stress of your voice, or all of you?
They don't do the shouting though.
I've never heard them, so I wish we could have played.
I just played a song a minute ago.
That was their music.
Yeah, why would I play it if it wasn't theirs?
No. But I thought it was a different kind of music.
No, they're boy bands.
I know, but I thought they'd sound more like In Sync.
No, they
have a whole different style.
A totally different style.
That's it. So we can't confuse.
We're gonna play. Actually, I'm gonna play a little clip of Love Sensation because that was the first song I ever heard. And I want to play it. I hope we don't get in trouble with that one. But I think what I wanted to say also, first I want to congratulate you guys. So we have had a lot of bands come on. We've had Chicago, we've had Earth, Wind, and Fire. We've had all these like major, bands and people come on. But there's always
Chicago.
There's always somebody in the band that's not original. And one of the things that I think is the coolest about 911 is it's been 30 years and there was a hiatus and then you come back and you guys are playing together, but it's all the original members. You don't have like you and 2 other people and and you're calling yourselves 911 even though you're not really 911 because only one person from the band is in it. It's all the 3 original members. So I think that's a super big kudos, and that whatever differences for the separation you guys have worked out in your older age, and then you're still putting out great music. So I just want to say kudos to that because I think it's a really cool thing and the fans love it. Like us as fans, we really think that's a really big deal.
Yeah, I mean we're very lucky. As you say, there's a lot of bands that either put not all the band members wanted to come back and they put somebody else in, or there's only one member, or blah blah. But to be honest, I mean, the good thing with us is we've always said when we didn't, yes, we split up, but it was more. I think we just had time. The rec company, as most rec companies do, just work you solid, in the 90s, and I think we just needed that break. And I think so. And for me, obviously, like I said before, is the first couple of years I couldn't quite handle it. I went down the drugs, depression, alcohol, all the rest of it. So it was a good few years before but we never really kind of fell out. It was just one of those things that we'd come to the end of our 4-album deal. We'd done all our albums, and we just kind of had needed a bit of a break. So we never really fell out. And then when we did decide, were we going to do this? It was kind of we sat down and said, we either do this 100% or we don't do it at all. So for as long as we know, and as long as we can try, and as long as our bodies will let us, we will try and give the show, the breakdance and the backflips, everything for as long as we can. But yes, you're right. We're very lucky that all 3 of us are still together.
I love it. I think.
Now you don't have a very heavy English accent. Where are you from?
I'm originally from a place called Liverpool, where the Beatles are from.
Liverpool. That's where the Beatles are from.
Liverpool. Yeah, right. I've been to Liverpool.
But it's not. My accent is not a very strong Liverpool. I live in near a place called Cambridge, which is south of the country now. I've been here 20 years, so obviously my broad Liverpool accent, if you were to speak to people that live in Liverpool, has kind of,
What's your ethnic background? Because you look like you could be Spanish or Italian.
No, I'm British. My mum is, my mum and dad are both British, yeah.
I love it. So I want to put in another plug for you because you're also a songwriter. I wrote down that you've done some songwriting. You worked with Rod Stewart and Les McKeown from the Bay City Rollers. The Bay City Rollers was one of the very first physical LP albums I ever got as a kid. Are they still around, the Bay City Rollers?
Yeah, well, actually, funny story, but one of the guys is still in the Bay City Rollers, but the lead singer is a guy called John McLaughlin, who was a songwriter, and he's actually the guy that wrote a lot of our hits from the Journey album.
Okay.
John is now the frontman for Bay City Rollers, and the reason that was because obviously he wrote a lot of songs with it. When Les was still with us, I was in the studio writing with John, writing songs for Les's EP album that was about to come out, and I've got a couple of songs on his album. And then obviously, Les passed away, and they decided as part of representing Bay City Rollers, they would get back together. And John, obviously knowing the guys originally from the band, became the lead singer. So yeah, it kind of comes around in circles.
You guys, for anybody who's listening and doesn't know who the Bay City Rollers, and this is a long time ago, it must have been in the 70s. I would guess in the the mid to mid 70s. They had that song SATURDAY. Hey, S.A., and it was all about Saturday night, going out on Saturday night and stuff. But it was a huge, huge hit.
Good thing you never went into business.
Yeah, I can't sing.
I think Shangalang was quite a big song. Was that a big song over there?
What was it called?
Shangalang?
Yes, it was. But not as big as Saturday night. That was a huge one. Because I remember my first two LP full albums were Bay City Rollers and Elton John, Captain Fantastic and the Brown Deer Cowboy were the first two albums I ever, got as a kid. And my first 8-track tape was Rod Stewart when 8-track tapes came out.
Now, do you have children?
Yes, I do. I have 3 children altogether. I have two with my wife, Taylor and Ellie. Ellie's 18, Taylor is 14.
Are they interested in the business?
I think Ellie's got a good voice. She can sing. Taylor, I don't think shows any interest whatsoever. He's quite shy and reserved. He's quite happy at home. Doesn't want to kind of be out front. We all have a bit of anybody that's in the business. There's a kind of a little bit of an ego in order to get on a stage and be able to perform for people and want that attention and all the rest of it. So Taylor's not that way, but Ellie certainly, she can hold a tune.
I love it. You guys, if all the guys had children and they could all sing, you could do 911 too.
No, you could do the Partridge Family.
They could do the kids,
I don't think they know.
We had a cool reality show here many years ago, and it was a reality show contest, and it was all the kids of the famous stars. So it had Dee Snider's kid from Twisted Sister and all these different ones competing, Olivia Newton-John, competing and stuff. And I met all the people. It was really a lot of fun, which I like all of it. So what is the most popular songs? When you guys go and play, what are you, of the 911 songs, what are the ones that people like the most or that you play the most, I guess I should say?
Everybody, wherever you go, always, as you can imagine, has their own favorites. You can't please everybody, but we had obviously an up-tempo track called Body Shaking, and I think they like that because of obviously there's a lot of dance routine, a lot of break dancing in that one. Love Sensation, as you say, is a great kind of what they call over here a cheesy song, very, very pop. You got All I Want Is You, Debbie Find Love. I think everybody has their own favorites, but I think since we've done I Do, I think I Do has kind of taken over because obviously it's been such a huge hit, but it's a recent hit. So I think that's what everybody likes.
I think Love Sensation is what people expect from a boy band, maybe like back in the day when it came out, all the boy bands were doing kind of like those upbeat songs like that. I think that's why I liked it originally, even though I'm actually more of a ballad. Like I like all the ballady stuff, better, especially now that I'm old.
Stop saying you're old. You're not old.
So
No one's old. They're only old when they want to be old. So there's no such thing as old. I don't believe in age. I don't believe
Yes.
I really don't believe I'm old.
So Juan, what I want to do is play a little bit of Love Sensation, but I'm afraid they might kick us off. So only play
the song I know,
like
Love Sensation?
play like a minute of it, and then we'll come back and talk with Jimmy. Jimmy, you introduce it for us real quick again, and then we're gonna play it, and then we'll be right back.
Okay, this is Jimmy from 911. This song is featured on Casper the Movie. You might remember it when you hear it. This is Love Sensation.
Changing, rearranging. Don't go changing, rearranging. Hold on to a love sensation. If you ever go away, that would be rough, I can't stay. We've been drawn together by love's chemistry.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Huh?
Did they cut us off?
No, they didn't cut us. I told them only to play a minute so we don't get cut off. Because that was put out by Virgin, so I might have a problem.
You were quite a cutie when you were young. I bet you had the girls crazy for you. And what made you? And how did? Wait, hey, it's a good question. Out of all the girls that were after you, what made you choose your wife?
Well, again, it's a funny story. I actually went out with my wife for about 4 or 5 months at the beginning of the band. I met her because she used to work for Boyzone, which the other band.
I love Boyzone. Okay.
So yeah, she used to work for Boyzone in the office doing admin and stuff. And then obviously I was away flying off then doing all kinds of stuff. So obviously it wasn't going to work out. And then we met randomly years and years later. We hadn't seen each other. Randomly met in a club. And a funny thing is, I went back to we did a gig in a club, and I went back to the lads backstage and said, "Do you remember the girl I used to go out with for a few months at the beginning? She's in the crowd. I hadn't spoken to her by this point, and I said, I'm going to end up marrying her. And I hadn't met her by then. I hadn't spoken to her. So, yeah, my wife is very, very opposite to me. She's very down to earth. Very, not that I'm not down to earth, but very kind of like, no ego, no kind of like very homely person, big heart.
She's grounded. She's grounded.
She keeps me grounded, which is good as well. So yeah, she's beautiful.
It's important in our business to be married to somebody who's grounded because we're off the wall.
Yeah.
So we need that stability, that person to say, now stop it.
Yeah.
Behave.
If you were to ask my kids, they would tell you the same thing, is that I'm sometimes a bit out there. This business sends you, into all kinds of stratospheres, but you need somebody that's kind of pulls you back on the reins when you need to and just kind of calm you down, I guess.
Well, you seem to be a nice fella, and you're very calm, and we have some nuts on our show that I can't deal with. No, we've had some really lunatics,
really
crazies. That being an interviewer is not easy because we have to get out of you what's interesting for the audience, and sometimes we have people on our show that are so gone they don't even hear me when I ask a question. They simply Well, this is what I'm doing. I have a movie coming out next week, and I just finished.
Yeah, that, or you ask them a question and they say yes, no.
Do you know the American actor Cliff Robertson?
No, he's not going to know that.
Academy Award winner, fabulous actor, very important.
Older.
I interviewed him, and he gave me I couldn't get a word out of him, so I said to him, I had to wake him up. I said to him, I heard your wife is a bitch. He said, no, she's not a bitch. She just plays bitches.
I think
I got him going, and then he started talking.
I think a lot of it is your attitude towards interviews in general, because I think certainly for me, I'm an open book. You can ask me whatever you want. There's no point in me trying to.
That's why you're a good interview.
I can tell you exactly what drugs, alcohol. I'll tell you whatever you want to hear, because there's no point in me. I always think you'll end up tripping yourself over if you're trying to say, oh, I can't go down this street because I might say this or this. Then you're always going to be looking over your shoulder all the time. For me, it's like, well, this is me. If I can tell you what you want to hear, but you might not like it, but I'm going to tell you what it is anyway.
And I think too.
No, I have had people I've interviewed, actors, famous. When I said a question about your wife, they said, "Oh, I don't discuss my family and my private life." So what the fuck are you doing here? You're here to sell something.
Yeah.
Well, that's good for you, but this is not a show of advertisement. We're not here to advertise your product. We're here to make people entertain people, and they don't get it. So I just get very angry with them, and I've walked off this show a couple of times. Well, because I got nowhere. They come on and they don't want to talk. So what are you doing here? You want to promote a movie or an album? That's using us.
That's good though, because we promote the music and the album, and then we do other stuff.
No, but you have to give me. You have to give me a show, and Jimmy gave us a show.
Absolutely.
See, this is a good show.
I'm the same. I watch, your kinds of shows, and I watch, listen to podcasts for the very same reason. Because there's people in the music business that I'm interested. If I haven't met them, I'm interested in how they've dealt with it. Are they as wacky as me sometimes? Because like I have been. I'm genuinely interested. It's like podcasts and shows like this. That's what they're there for. People want to hear stuff they haven't read in a magazine. Because a lot of the stuff put in a magazine, you'll say it because it sells records. People genuinely want to know what kind of person that they're speaking to and what kind of life they've lived. But not everybody.
The compliments that I get when I'm out in the public and people come up to me and say, I love your show because I feel like I'm with you. I feel like I'm part of your conversation. So I say to them, well, I tell our guests, pretend you're in Brooklyn having coffee and Entenmann's crumb cake, and we're talking. And to my celebrity movie star people, and they're very comfortable with that, and they love it. And
you say that's the kind of show we're doing. So if you don't like it, then go and do a different show.
This is a show. This is not an advertisement.
And I love it. So I have a question, and probably everybody else is going to want to know who watched, because this show is going to get a lot of plays, because we have you, and you're a great guest, and our next guest is also a great guest, a really big Australian actor. Do you like horror movies at all? Do you ever watch horror movies?
I do. I mean, I've obviously the likes of Scream and stuff like that are big horror movies, but I don't watch. I'm not a massive fan of them, but I do like when they come out with. I tell you what it is. What I don't like is the likes of Scream. I remember obviously growing up watching Scream, but then they make Scream 7, and I'm like, I'm done with that. Bring out a great, Final Destination, great, first.
There's like 8 of them.
I'm not saying that they're rubbish, but you know what I mean. It seems to be that kind of like the shock value was there at the beginning. So when you saw Jason with the mask on and all that kind of stuff, it's like, oh my god, this is like great. But then when you start doing 8, 10 of them, it kind of dilutes it. So, but I do like them. Yeah.
So my real question I wanted to ask, okay, so because fans are going to want to know when they're listening to this. So 911, do you guys have any plans of any new music to come out in the future? Since you just released I Do not too long ago.
like you said earlier, it's our 30-year anniversary next year. So we've had, obviously we meet most weekends because it's festival week time. But we're having discussions, obviously, what we're going to do for our 30th anniversary. So we are kind of speaking to people. We're all looking at a tour for next year. And then I think new music, yes, but I think new music is a bit different to the way it used to be. You know, back when you used to buy it was always about the charts. Nobody really cares about the charts over here anymore.
Yeah, I don't care about them either.
Music releases are now there just to kind of, I suppose, just get yourself back out there again, whether it's TikTok or social media. I mean, that's the strange thing for me is being, you know, the age that we are now is that social media is a learning curve. We don't know a lot about it. So it's like starting again. But I understand that you release music and put it on social media because it kind of builds your, you know, your profile back up again.
All kinds of new fans.
Okay,
we got to go.
I want to ask him. I ask everybody this. What do you think of rap?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan because I'm again American artists, R&B rap.
You like rap?
Yeah, he likes rap. I do too. Name me one rap artist that you like a lot. Is there a current one that you like? I
mean, I like Chris Brown, but it depends what you call rap because you've then got the scales of like Eminem.
He more means hip hop. His idea of rap is more like hip hop, like, you know.
No, I mean the shit they do today where they don't sing and they talk.
Yeah, that's hip hop.
And they call that singing, and I get offended by that because it's not singing. I'm gonna go over there and get
like
that
Snoop Dogg or Ice Cube or something. I love Ice Cube.
You're absolutely speaking the lyric.
Okay, we got to go though, so let's roll it.
So you sing.
I obviously there obviously is some rap stuff, and I have the conversation with my daughter, which makes me feel very old. It's like, and I'm like, this isn't music. This isn't how it used to be. You know what I mean? But there is some of that like that. I can't understand it.
No talent.
I agree.
It's no talent making millions of dollars. And that's what I find objectionable, because there are so many singers out there who are wonderful, who really can sing, and they're struggling. That's my problem. That's my problem.
When the 30th anniversary comes around, we'd love to have you come back on, especially with, I'm sure there'll be at least one new song, so we would love it. We want to thank again the Bite Back Agency and Mark Loverush Schneider for setting this thing up. I'm a huge fan. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Only wish you the best.
And when you see Mark Loverush, tell him to stop sending me flowers. I'm not interested. I'm married. I'm married to Jimmy, and stop sending the love letters. And then also tell him to stop sending me nude pictures of himself.
Thank you guys for having me on. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Take care, Jimmy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hey, you guys, that was Jimmy Constable from 911. Now we're going to bring on our next guest because we don't have any time. We ran a little late. So let's bring on John Jarrett. Oh, Astro, stop.
Hello. How you going?
How are you?
Not too foul for an old bloke.
And it's so early. So thank you so much for getting up early to come and visit with us. We're super excited. I spent the last 2 days watching John Jarrett everything, even though I've seen a lot of it, but we can't get a lot of your stuff here in America, unfortunately. But let me do a proper introduction and we'll get rocking and rolling. Now, everybody, we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, actor, writer, director John Jarrett, all the way from down under in Australia. Thanks so much for coming and welcome to the show.
And Jimmy does rave about you. That's all I've heard for the last couple of days. I'm so excited about our guest on Wednesday. So he's sincere. He's sincere. He's not doing Hollywood bullshit.
Good.
So you're an old timer too, baby, right? How old are you?
I'm 73.
I'm 85. So we can have it. So we can talk about a lot of stuff.
There's 3 ages of man. Do you know what they are?
What?
Youth, middle age, and you're looking good.
And you're both looking good.
I've heard that.
Looking good. That light's a pain in the ass. Can I turn that light off and see if it's a better?
Yeah, you can see.
John, the wonderful thing is, at our age, we're still working.
Oh, that might be too dark.
Yeah. Hang on.
Okay.
Well, we could have somebody jump out and stab you.
Actually, as scary as you are in some of your movies,
Yeah,
it kind of works. I know that's fine.
I was
Yeah,
going
that's
to
better.
say somebody should jump out and stab them, and then we have a horror movie here. But what I said was, well, I'm so happy that at our ages we're still working. This is what's wonderful. That today you can be any age in film. Years ago, you know, at my age, they buried you. So, how do you feel about that?
Well, it's you just got to stay fit and healthy.
Exactly.
People get old and stiff because they stop stretching. You don't eat shit food. You exercise. You do weights. You just don't let the old man in. As Clint Eastwood would say.
I say the same thing. That people say to me, "How come you look so good for 85?" I said, "I never did drugs. I don't smoke, and I don't drink." And Jimmy doesn't either. And
I don't either.
I think that has a lot to do with staying healthy, and you know.
So real quick, we have a chat room full of people. Could you just say hi to everybody in the chat room?
G'day, chat room. How you doing?
And then we have a super horror fan, Dawn Hinton. Just say hi to Dawn. She'll love it.
How are you, Don?
There you go. I love it. She's like all about it.
How do you like working horror? I don't. I'm in a lot of horror movies and I hate them. I just think that horror movies are stupid, and the slasher movies I really don't like. I never do those. So do you have particular movies that you do and don't do?
He doesn't know about Wolf Creek. I'm going to talk about that in a minute.
What? Talk about what?
Okay. No. Horror movies. I don't. The horror movies I like are Psycho, Cape Fear with De Niro, and it's just going. I'm having an old person's moment. Hannibal Lecter, and
Yes.
The ones that act, they're not wearing a mask, you know, and that they could happen. You know, I hate zombie movies and bloody all of that rubbish. Vampires are a bit of fun because it's a bit gay and we all love it. But
yeah,
no, I like horror movies that could happen, which is what my horror film is all about.
That's what I was going to actually say.
Freddy Krueger, it's not acting; it's a mask. They can't act.
First of all, I want to say, so you're our third very well-known Australian guest that we've had on. We've been on the air for 18 years, but
Wow.
we've had other people, but they're not as well-known and respected as you guys. But I don't know. Do you know who Sharni Vinson is?
Who?
Sharni Vinson. She's like a dance. She does a lot of like dance movies, but she also did one huge horror movie that was a huge hit here in America. And so she was on our show. We got 20 million plays when she came on the show.
Wow.
And we also had Guy Sebastian, who's like a singer, X Factor, or one of those things.
Huge fan of Guy Sebastian. He's a brilliant singer. He's
so
one
we
of
have
my
those
favorites.
two, and now we have you. And Wolf Creek. The reason I like so we've had everybody who's played Michael Myers, everybody who's played Pinhead, all the different people. Freddy Krueger's been on. Not everybody who plays, just Robert Englund. And I think that what you just said is totally true. The reason why Mick Taylor is so scary and all the Wolf Creek stuff is because that could be a real person. That could be your next door neighbor, and you don't even fucking know it.
Yeah,
you know, they could really be killing you. So I think Wolf Creek is one of the most brilliant horror movies of the last. Well, I'm 60, so of my lifetime. I think it's because it's actually scary because it could really happen.
Exactly.
I believe in the script. If the script is good, a horror movie is okay. But when a horror movie is 10 people in a room and one by one they get killed, that shit we've seen forever and it's boring. So I'm encouraging the horror writers to write. I am, and so are many other actors. Give us a decent script. Give us something of value. Years ago in my era, in the 1940s, we had horror movies that scared you. Nowadays, the horror movies don't scare you anymore because we're numb to them. We see heads getting chopped off, faces blowing up, and we laugh. Ha 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 ha! Look at that. So I feel that we need to have good writers writing stories. Let's learn who the characters are. Let's have some character background. So when I do scripts now, I no longer do slasher movies, but I'm in horror movies. But they're thriller horror movies. Now, did I make sense, or am I full of shit?
No. There's three things you need to make a film. Do you know what they are?
Tell us.
A beginning, a middle, and an end.
No. You hit the nail on the head in the beginning. The three things you need to make a movie are the script, and the script.
I agree.
There you go. Yes.
I agree totally. You know what? They sent me a script, and the script was drag queens from outer space. I was supposed to play a drag queen, and we came here to Earth to eat men because there were no men left on our planet. And I sent it around to all my producer friends, and we had the best laugh. We thought it was hysterical. I mean, what kind of shit do they think we're going to do? And, it makes us look bad. Now, I know of your reputation. You have quite a reputation. And you don't need to be in a slasher crappy film that any jerk can do. You're an actor. You need to be in a great film. You need to be in good work.
He is in good work.
I mean,
okay, so
but better work. I don't. I mean,
the biggest movies in the world.
I know that, but I don't care for some of them.
Oh well, that's you. Anyway, that's not.
I feel that we actors, if we're going to be in horror movies, I think Christopher Lee. I met Christopher at a party in Beverly Hills, and I unfortunately said to Christopher Lee, "You were the best Dracula ever since Bela Lugosi." And he looked down at me because he was 7 foot tall, and he said, "I have done more than Dracula."
Yeah.
He was so offended that I knew him as Dracula. And I meant it as a compliment because he did a wonderful Dracula. Don't you agree?
I do agree. I love Boris Karloff as well. Your rooms are ready now. That guy, he was brilliant. It was something else. But they had a particular style, and that does seem to run in horror movies. That like Hannibal Lecter, that Hannibal Lecter thing. And my thing is, I've got to laugh, and I deepen my voice. I talk like that. How you going? All right. I speak like that. I got a little crackle in my throat all the time when I talk.
Right.
It's a little bit scary, and then when I laugh, I go like like that.
I fucking love it. I have to say, I think because in the chat room they're all saying get him to do the laugh, and so you did it, and I didn't even have to ask you.
No, everyone loves the laugh. Yeah.
I also Wolf Creek. We're going to talk about other stuff too, but I just want to talk about Wolf Creek a little bit because I love it so much. I had no idea that there was a TV series. I googled it on Tubi, and and there's the TV series. So in America, they didn't promote that a lot. I didn't know there was a TV series, so I'm going to watch it. But I've seen the first one and the second one, and one of the things about Wolf Creek as a horror movie, also besides the fact that your character is so. Like you think everybody's gonna like love you, until you're like laughing and killing people, and it's really creepy. It could be real, but the special effects in Wolf Creek are so good compared to all the other horror movies, Jason and Freddy and everything. Like in Wolf Creek 2, when you're chasing the guy and the girl in the Jeep and then you shoot from like way away and you blow half her head off, that's like the most realistic thing I've ever seen, like in any movie ever. And I've seen every horror movie, of the last 30 years because I'm a big fan. So I think that everything with the series, with the movie, the films has been fantastic. And I think, did you have to audition for that? Or did they just come to you and say, hey, we think you're going to play a great psychopath? Or like, how did you actually get that? Because you play the psychopath better than like anybody I've ever seen.
No, without sounding like a wanker, I rarely audition anymore because I had a pretty good start to my career. And the guy who wrote, Greg McLean, who wrote Wolf Creek, the first one, and every other one. He had me in mind when he wrote it. So he saw me in a play. I did a play called Dead Heart, and I played this racist cop. And he saw me do that, and then when he wrote the script, he thought I'd be the guy who could do it. So I didn't have to audition. No, we sat down and had a good talk, and he was very happy at the end of the talk that he made the right choice. He felt. Mm.
I freaking love it. So you guys bragging a little bit. When you Google John Jarrett, first of all, it comes up that he's one of the most terrifying villains in Australian movie history for playing Mick Taylor. It also comes up that Quentin Tarantino says he's the best Australian actor. And that's a pretty high bar considering you have Nicole Kidman. You have all these huge people. And you actually worked with Quentin Tarantino a little bit in Django Unchained, right?
Yeah, I did Django. Yeah.
We have another friend.
The reason why I believe what you said, that he's the best actor in Australia. How many years are you in the business? Are you acting?
I did in 1974. I did a film called Picnic at Hanging Rock, which is a very famous Australian film. It relaunched the Australian film industry. It went to Cannes. It went to all the festivals, and it's a classic, and in Australia at least. And Peter Weir directed it. I don't know if you heard of Peter Weir, Dead Poets Society.
So you've been in the business for 30, 40 years.
51.
51. That's why you're a great actor, because you've learned. You're experienced. You're not green. Today,
I was good at Picnic at Hanging Rock, though.
Yes,
John.
I watched the trailer for it on YouTube.
I don't know if this is done in Australia, but here in America, pay to play. Are you familiar with pay to play?
No.
Ordinary people off the street pay the producer, and they're in the movie. Now they expect a vintage actor of me, 65 years, to work with a pay for play. I was in a movie with a pay for play, and I was furious. I was a cop, and I was furious with this guy who I suspected killed his brother. And the pay for play person called me, "Oh, you're a bastard."
That's nice.
And I turned to the director. I said, "Is he kidding?" Here I am screaming at him with a gun, and that's the reaction I got. Well, the guy was not an actor. He was somebody that knew somebody, and pay for play. So I'm against that. And
see, you guys don't have that. Either that, or you don't participate in any films that are low budget enough to have that. Because here in America, people make these up to $500,000 films where they sell off all the roles on Indiegogo, and you can have a
not
speaking
only
role.
low budget, no, high budget. You could be in a $10 million film, and somebody puts 10. I was called up, don't you remember?
Yeah.
Somebody called me. Someone called me.
All Australian films, with the exception of very few, are low budget films.
I was called up, and they.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah. Unless it's Baz Luhrmann or Dr. George Miller, who Mad Max, and Baz Luhrmann's just did Elvis. And,
yes.
And half the time it's American orientated, but not many full-on Aussie films, full Australian cast, big budget films, because unless you have an A-lister in it, and it's a bit of a problem, and I'm a bit shitty about it, to be honest. We got about 24 A-listers, and they very rarely use their Australian accent. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
We got some very big stars, and they should come home and jump into Aussie films and use their Australian accent occasionally.
I agree with that. And actually, you're my favorite of all the Australian films. And I didn't I mean, I basically know you from horror because I've seen all your horror movies. I love the movie Rogue. I didn't realize what an extensive career you have. And 2 days ago, when I put the thing that you were coming on, this guy who lives in Australia who has a record company tweeted out this thing to me saying, "Oh, it's like you have two different guests coming on. You have John Jarrett, Wolf Creek Killer, and then you also have the guy who hosted Play School, which is like an Australian children's program that I grew up on." He was like, "That I grew up on, and what a great guest this is going to be." And then I looked it up, and you hosted like Better Homes and Gardens TV show, and you've made like Christmas films and Christmas Down Under, and you've made you're an actual true actor, because most horror actors get pigeonholed and only get to do horror, but you actually didn't start in horror and you do everything. And I think that's a big kudos to the fact that you are a great actor, that you can do all these different things.
Well, that's what makes you a great actor, when you do everything. That's why I tell you I don't do just horror movies, because they're boring and stupid. Thank God I have a couple of movies coming up. I have one with a beautiful script. Oh, negative. It's a fabulous script, because it's going to be very sensitive and informative. It's about a vampire whose daughter becomes of age, and he has to tell her he's a vampire, and he has to teach her to be a vampire, but he's gay. So here we're going to expose the gay world with the vampire. It's very intelligent. It sounds stupid, but it's not. And I take my daughter to an enchanted land where she meets various people. And the political view of it is that we should all be together, no matter who we are or what we look like or how we sound. And I love the whole meaning of the thing. It's going to be a love story. And I'm playing it not like a stupid vampire. I'm not playing it, ooh, I'm playing it regular. And I just get crazy when I need blood. So when I need blood, I become a horrible creature. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it.
Listening to you talk about it, sounds to me, to be honest, I think the film sucks.
No.
He got it. He got it. You didn't.
No,
I got it.
Over his head, sorry.
Sucks. Okay. Oh, God.
That was no, I got it.
If you read the script, you'd be very moved by
Wait,
it.
I have a question.
We've never seen a vampire that was kind and moved you.
I want to go
and
back.
loving.
I want to go back though to something you said before. When you say
Loving vampire.
when you say all Australian films are low budget, like what's your idea of low budget?
Yeah.
Like under 10 million, under 5 million? What's your
Okay. We're making Wolf Creek 3 in January. We're looking like doing it in January. I'm getting the muscles back up.
There you go.
And it's $7 million. And that's a film that we're probably the most successful film franchise in the 20s, from 2004 till today. We got, as you said, we've got 2 movies and 2 successful television series, and we're doing Wolf Creek 3, and it's $7 million. That's not a lot of money.
That's not a lot of money. In America, they waste so much money. It's not funny. They couldn't do it for $7 million here. Not the way. I mean, it's done so well.
No, but it's sensible, because the money's in the back end with this film, right?
Right.
So we can make it to look like 30 million. Wolf Creek 2, which was more action adventure horror. There's trucks going down hills and all sorts of stuff. That was, I think, 13 million from memory, which is not big, because that had a lot of action in it. The next Wolf Creek film is going to be more like the first one, sort of dark and creepy, and which is I prefer that. I think it's much more fun.
Yes, I like that.
Anyway, so yeah, even our most successful films, unless it's Wolverine or one of those spandex movies, which I can't stand.
I like them better. I think
they make Wolverine and Thor and stuff here because, and as you know, Chris Hemsworth, and and Hugh are Australians, but so they do big blockbusters here, but it's got nothing to do with Australian filmmaking. It's financed overseas, and they come here and do it because there's got a really good tax break.
Right. I love it. So you have a new film that we can't see here. I tried to see if we could watch it. I watched the trailer a bunch of times. You wrote it, you directed it, you star one of the stars of it, called What About Sal? And it looks like a great movie. And is that the first movie that you've directed, or have you directed others?
This is my third time, my third film that I've directed, and wrote and produced and acted in. And it's on Netflix in Australia, and when on net, it got a cinema release. We got it into 70 cinemas around Australia, which is pretty good. And everyone loves it. And it's on Netflix in Australia, New Zealand at the moment. And it's been in for a week, and it's been in the top 10 every day. So it's going really well. Everyone loves it, and it's not horror at all. It's a story of a Down syndrome man whose mother is a chain smoker, and she's got lung cancer, and she's dying. And he's going to have to go to a group house because he hasn't got anybody. And so he goes in search of his father, who was a one-night stand, or one-night standing, as he says, with my mother. You had one night standing with my mother in 1988. And because Down syndrome people are very literal.
Yes.
And the guy playing the lead is one of the best actors I've ever worked with, full stop. He's extraordinary. He's been in the business since 2008. He won Best Actor at a thing called Trop Fest. And he said, I won $3,000 from Nicole Kidman. And it's a brilliant story. And if I do say so myself, and hopefully if it keeps going like it is on Netflix, it'll go worldwide on Netflix. And it's called What About Sal? And it goes in search of his father, and I look a hell of a lot like the father, and he's an alcoholic.
You look a lot like the father. So wait, let's do this. I have the trailer. And I want to play the trailer. So introduce the trailer. One, play the trailer that says "What About Sal?" We're just going to play it real quick because when it comes to America, that way people will have already heard about it here, because we'll have about 5 million people listen to this. So go ahead and
fantastic.
do it.
Thank you.
So introduce it for us.
This is the trailer for What About Sal? The story of a Down syndrome man who doesn't want to go to a group house, and his mother's dying. So he goes in search of his father, and he finds him, and he looks a lot like me.
I'm afraid we've got some bad news.
She's got lung cancer, hasn't she?
She doesn't have much time left. Where's Sal's father?
That's Tommy O'Dwyer. Heaven help me if he's your bloody dad.
It was a one-night stand.
What is a one-night stand?
Sal, where are you?
I found my dad.
Hello.
He is very nice.
I thought I told you to piss off. I have nowhere to go.
I will end up in a good house, and I'll be very sad for the rest of my life.
Stand up and accept some responsibility.
I know that you're a good man, and I know I love you.
It looks really good.
Yeah, I can't wait for it to come.
It looks really good. So you play a singer in it, and I Googled you because I saw on your IMDb that it looked like maybe you had sung a song in some other movies. And so you actually like to sing, because I saw a video of you singing. I don't know if it was karaoke or what it was, but I saw a video of you singing. So do you actually sing in this movie for real?
Yeah, that's the only way I can sing.
I mean, it could be like you lip syncing to somebody else, or is it really?
No, I can sing. No, I sang all the songs in it, and a bloke called Craig McLaughlin, who's a very famous Australian actor, also a rock and roller. He wrote the songs, and yeah, I play an alcoholic ex-rock and roll singer. He's singing in old people's homes because he's a drunk and he can't get a gig anymore. And I won't say too much more because I'll give the game away. But yeah, so yeah, I do sing. I've sung in other films as well, and I've done a few musicals.
I love it. I think it's great because you actually were really good. I was almost going to pull the clip, but I was like, I'd rather show people the actual trailer because I know it'll make it here eventually if it's doing that well in Australia. It's definitely going to make it here, and it doesn't have to be dubbed, so we can all understand it. And I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do you find it difficult to lose the Australian accent and have an American accent?
No, that's we can do any accent. And Aussies can do just about any accent, and Americans can.
I bet you can't
do Australian accents, but I did a film in Portland, and I played an American. It was a horror film called Shiver, and I got the role because of Mick Taylor, but the character was nothing like Mick Taylor. He was a real punsy little jeweler who got women's addresses and went around and terrorized them and spoke poetry as he cut their heads off and put it in a jar. And so he was a real nerdy guy, and I don't play nerdy guys very often. And so I decided to just make him slightly buck-toothed and stuff like that. How are you? And he was kind of creepy, you know. And it was my first film with an American accent, and I think I did well. I do.
Danielle Harris is in that film, right?
Wait a minute. Can you do a Brooklyn accent?
You're talking to me? Yeah, sure, I can do that. You know, what's the matter with you? What are you looking at, motherfucker? Yeah, I can do that.
You got to say this, John. Forget about it.
Forget about it. Fuck you.
That was good.
Forget about it.
So
forget about it. What are you talking about? Fuck you.
What are you talking about?
Fuck you.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
Actually, Danielle Harris has been on the show, and she's a friend of mine, and she was in that Shiver movie with you.
She was, yeah. I love her. She's great. Yes.
Yeah, she's fantastic. So you also wrote a book, and I've never I love the title of the book. I didn't know you wrote a book until today, but I looked it up. It's called The Bastard. It's an autobiography called The Bastard from the Bush. Plug it a little bit because maybe we'll sell some copies.
Interesting title.
Oh, that was written about 13 years ago now. Quite a long time ago, about 10 years at least. And I think it's sold out. I don't think you can buy it anymore.
Oh.
It's old, but it's called The Bastard from the Bush, which is a famous Australian poet wrote a poem called The Bastard from the Bush. And I was born and raised in the country, and that's why I can do Mick Taylor so well, because I'm from the outback. And as a teenager, I used to go out and shoot pigs and kangaroos and stuff with my brother. And my dad was an outback kind of guy. My dad was 5'9" and about 90 kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds. We've moved ahead in Australia. We're metric. You know, you guys are still in pounds, shillings, and pence, or whatever it is you do. Anyway, Dad was very stocky and a tough guy, very funny. And he said, well, if you get in a fight with me and I get you up against a wall, I'll fill your shirt with busted ribs, you know, and stuff like that. And Mick Taylor is actually based on my father. It's an impersonation of my father who had a really deep voice, but Dad wasn't a psychopath or a serial killer. So I added psychopath and serial
killer too.
And I don't have his deep baritone voice. And that's why I do the, you know, hey, you go. And that's why I do that. I can do that all day, and it drops my vocal tone. And so it's Mick Taylor is my father with psychopath and serial killer thrown in.
I love it. You also you did a lot of movies with Brian Brown, who's like my other favorite Australian actor friend.
He's a very good friend of mine, Brian Brown. Brown, I call him.
I love those.
He rings to the States and he talks. He's got a very broad Australian accent. And he rings And he said, who is it? Who's talking? That's Brian Brown. He said, Brown, your name's Brian Brown. It's Brown. And then he goes, Brian Brown. Oh, Brian Brown. Yeah,
he's a great actor. I first saw him in the Thornbirds I must have been in high school or something back in the day.
Now that was a script.
Yeah, that was a great script.
Yeah. I'll tell you the day I met Brian Brown, I didn't know him. He was totally unknown, but I knew his name before he was famous. I remembered him when, like a year or so later, he became really well known. I just done Picnic Hanging Rock, and he was doing a concert that he put together himself in a pub, sort of a review thing, and everyone said it was really funny. And so I went up and had a drink with a friend, and I sat down at the table and I watched these two guys come out, and they were very funny. And Brian was one of them. And I'd done Picnic Hanging Rock and another film called The Great McCarthy. So my star was rising at the time. And at the end of the show, he came down off the stage up to my table and said, "G'day, John, Brian Brown. How the fuck do you get in the movies?" and I remembered him, and I remembered his name, Brian Brown. And then later on, I'm in a film with him a couple of years later. I said, "I remember meeting you, and I remembered your name because you came up and said it in my face." And he said, "Yeah, I remember that." So yeah, he's a wonderful person, a very good friend of mine. Yeah,
very good actor.
Now, a little bit about your real self. Are you married? Do you have children?
Yes, I've been married 4 times, and I've got 6 children.
Wow.
All my wives get 2 kids in a house each. I'm married a 4th time, and she's my first wife and my 4th wife. I got together with my first wife.
Oh, you went back?
Yeah, I went back. She was the only one
back then.
she was the only one to kick me out. So
I love it.
I left the other 2, but when I left the 3rd wife, my first wife was available, so I cracked onto her again.
There you go. Did any of your children want to follow your footsteps to be actors?
Funnily enough, only one. And William, my 3rd youngest, is starting to do some acting classes now. He's decided he's going to go that way. He's a brilliant singer, but that's too hard. So he's working on it. My youngest, Riley, he wants to do it, and he can do any accent, and he's very funny, and I think he'll do well. Yeah,
I love it. I think that's terrific. It's great too because he has like a role model to follow for the whole thing, so it works.
Yeah.
I want to tell everybody too. You guys can follow John Jarrett on Instagram. It's at Real John Jarrett. We have 3 minutes. Do you ever come to? I thought I saw something maybe on Instagram or someplace that you come here and do autograph signings at like horror conventions and stuff. Do you have any of those coming up?
Yeah, I got one in Kentucky, and I got one in New Jersey, and I can't remember the name of them. But yeah, I go all around the world signing Wolf Creek photos, and I'm the only person who does this. They want me to tell them off and say terrible things to them. So I to Bill, go fuck yourself, John Jarrett. You can't use the C word, can you? No.
You can. Yes, you can. You can use anything you want. Yeah.
I can use the C word. Okay. Well, in Wolf Creek too, I say I call this bloke a pommy cunt, which is an Englishman word that we use. If you're from England, you're a pommy. Anyway, I went to Manchester and I'm signing these photos, and they all come up and said, "Could you that pommy cunt?" And the women said, "Could you that pommy cunt?" So I'm writing pommy cunt all day for the Manchester people. And these gay girls came up and said, "Could you that pommy cunt?" So I wrote, "You pommy pair of cunts." Yeah. Yes. So in October, I'll be in Kentucky and New Jersey.
I definitely, if you come to one of them in California, I want to come and meet you because I think you would be a blast. So we have like a minute left. I would like you to do one thing for me. You know how like in number 2, you say my name is Mick Taylor, pleased to meet you, but do it in your like accent, you know, that you do it because that shit's creepy and fun as hell.
My name's Mick Taylor, pleased to meet you.
And then he kills you.
You sound like a 17th century pirate.
Harvey Buckos. He'll be Long John Silver.
Right.
And a pommy cunt. So everybody follow John Jarrett. Again, it's at Real John Jarrett on Instagram. Check out all his films. Wolf Creek 3. I can't wait for it to come out. Wolf Creek right now, you guys streaming on Tubi, the number 1 and number 2. Check out What About Sal when it gets here. And I also, everybody should watch Rogue, even though you're not like the mainest character. It's a really good movie. And we also want to thank Dennis for helping set this whole thing up. Dennis, you're a person who works with you. So Dennis, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You're a true inspiration. I love all your work. And anytime you want to promote anything, let us know. We'd love to have you back.
It was a pleasure meeting you, John.
And it was a pleasure meeting you too, you Yankee.
And thank you for the laugh.
He said it. Say it again.
It's a pleasure to see you guys, you Yankee cunts.
I love it. Thank you so much. And thanks for getting up. Everybody, we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
This is MC Alfred. I'm just chilling. Let me start yo sitting down and designing. Where every man in thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC. You can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party. Let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfred, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your one I wanna be. Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out.